Welcome to our final Summer Splash Satellite Sisters podcast. This was our favorite show of the year this far and one of your favorite shows based on your comments. Julie, I got to give it to you because this is the show where you taught us the lesson, whip the pony.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
That would be your ponytail, not the pony.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for clarifying. Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for clarifying. So we just decided to replay this entire show because it's a winner. We would like to thank our sponsors this week. We'd like to thank Green Chef, Pros, Framebridge, and Rothy's for supporting Satellite Sisters and supporting women's voices on the air. We're going to take next week off, and then we'll be back in September with all new shows. But until then, whip that pony.
You're listening to Satellite Sisters.
What's a satellite sister?
The person you call when the best thing in your life happens or the worst.
The person that gets you up, gets you going, and gets you through.
And every once in a while, changes your mind.
This podcast is part pep talk, part weekly check-in.
Like grabbing coffee with a friend.
Thanks for being here. Welcome to the Satellite Sisterhood.
You're listening to Satellite Sisters. We're so happy you're here with us today. I'm Leanne Dolan in Pasadena, California. I'm a writer and producer, and that's all I got today. I'm busy this morning. I've already made a farro salad. Oh, I've already made one farro salad today. So, Liz, what's happening with you?
Okay, I'm Liz Dolan. I'm in Santa Monica, California. Leanne, did you notice that there's a farro salad fan club that is formed in the Satellite Sisters Facebook group?
I'm happy to see it.
People are loving that. Well, I am a marketer, and we have a major marketing story we're going to talk about today. I'm just going to say it's flaming hot, people. It's flaming hot.
Hi, I'm Julie Dolan. I'm the oldest sister. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I've lived and worked all over the world. But you know what, sisters? I have a really good feeling about today.
You do? Okay.
I have a really good feeling about today. And the show.
That's okay. That's good. Okay.
Well, here's what's happening on the show. We do have not one, but two snack stories. So we are covering all the news from the land of snacks. The first concerns like who really invented Flamin' Hot Cheetos, not a question I had considered before I read an explosive piece in the Los Angeles Times yesterday. Also, if you're trying to launch a new snack food, how do you do that in the middle of a pandemic? Some more interesting facts from the world of snacks. So we've got that.
Snack facts. I like it. I like it, Leanne.
Julie, we said we weren't going to talk about it last week because it seemed personal. But now it doesn't seem personal or private. Now it's exploding on the front pages, the Gates divorce. You want?
We're going to talk about it today. I've got some thoughts. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. You also have Tuesday trends about weddings. You've done some research. You actually researched.
Yes.
Wow.
Don't ask a lot of follow-up questions.
Okay. Got it.
You know how it goes. All right.
Got it. Mm-hmm. And then we have some entertaining sisters recommendations and a shout out to some of the new Rock and Roll Hall of Fame members. So, but first, I just want to remind people that the Sweeney Sisters is out in paperback now. That is, my book about secrets and sisterhood and sunshine. It's a great beach read. It's out in paperback. And I'm going to tell you about some book club things that you can get in on if you've chosen the Sweeney Sisters as your book club pick. Thank you very much. Or if you're just reading it on your own and then want to discuss afterwards, I am relaunching the Crowdcast book clubs from last year. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned.
Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to fill you guys in on it's this week's installment of hashtag Little Victories. I broke my leg and my knee at the end of the year. I'm coming back, sisters.
That's
Slowly but surely, I'm getting there. And I think on last week's show, I confessed that my physical therapy appointment had involved some crying. Mm-hmm. And then the follow-up appointment involved a little bit of talking to. And that was from my physical therapist, who I just referred to as the Beast. And she's like, okay, what is holding you back? I'm like, well, my broken leg appears to really be holding me back. And she made it clear to me that, yes, some of it was in my leg, but that some of it was in my head.
Uh-huh.
And Yep.
Mhm.
And that's, you need this. This is the perfect physical therapist who can do both for you, both the healing and then the slapping around a little bit. That combo is a very unique combo that PT needs to do. So I came home, and on Friday, I just decided, okay, I'm just going to self-certify myself on my living room stairs. I have 4 steps from my dining room and the main part of my apartment down into my living room. And I've been down there a few times when I have been supervised, when my occupational therapist, Sage, is here helping me. But I was too afraid to do it by myself because I didn't think I was steady enough. So Friday afternoon, I just decided, this is it. I am doing it. She's right. I'm holding myself back. And I went up and down 3 times. And I just decided, okay, you are now self-certified. The stairs are safe. You can do the stairs. So that was really exciting. And then I thought, okay, well, now I'm going to go down there and do what I love to do down there, which is lay on my living room couch with Hooper and watch reruns of Key and Peele, right? That's what that's what on Hulu. That's what I wanted to do. So Friday night, when the end of the workday came around, I'm like, okay, this is what you got to do now. You can just go down those stairs, maybe have a little glass of wine, maybe have some chips and salsa. And then I realized, well, you're on the crutches. So the carrying of the beverages and snacks, that's a whole higher certification level than I had.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's what I did. And I was actually very proud of myself. So I went and I got a backpack. And
there's a way, Liz.
Yes, there is, Julie. That's what it takes to recover from this kind of accident. So I go into the kitchen. I pour the wine into one of my little National Geographic Swell bottles, and put the cap on that, put that in the backpack, put a plastic cup in. Then I take a Ziploc bag and I fill it with some pita chips, and another Ziploc bag and fill it with the homemade salsa. I had made that myself that afternoon. I put all of that in my backpack, and I hiked my way with my backpack down into my living room, and I just could not have been happier. That is the biggest thing I've accomplished in so long. Biggest thing I've accomplished in 2021 is
Liz. I mean, if you could do a happy dance, I'm sure you were doing a happy dance.
Anyway, so that hashtag little victory was the backpack full of wine and chips and salt snacks. It's
snacks,
all
Liz. Snacks.
When you can serve your own snacks, you are getting better, right? You can. So yeah. That's it. Little victory, hashtag, I did it.
Okay, that is excellent, Liz. And really, congratulations. That's good. I mean, you're talking about little victories. Well, Liz and Leanne, I want to tell you that you know how much I love tennis. I think it is the perfect game, physical, mental, and social. But my tennis team this year, we ended up in last place. Okay, dead last, not even close to another team. So there was no little victories going on our tennis team, Liz and Liam.
Yeah.
But our team, we take it pretty seriously. So what we did this past week is we hired a sports psychologist. Okay, now stick with me. Now this is a big time sports psychologist. He works with rising tennis stars. These are teenagers that are trying to get college scholarships. They're trying to, get on the circuit. That's usually what he deals with. Okay. Because we could never afford him otherwise, but because of COVID and Zoom calls, we worked it out that he would give us an hour and a half lecture, do a
pep talk,
literally, Leanne, with our team. So now we have to realize that no one on our team is making a living from tennis. Okay. We are not paying our mortgages from tennis. Okay. However, Liz and Leanne, we do consider ourselves athletes, okay, albeit aging athletic stars. That is really how we view ourselves, and we want to win. I mean, our opponents are the same age as we are, so why should they win, right? I mean,
good point.
The name of our team is the Ace Kickers, okay, so we take it. I didn't make up that name.
Julie, that is unexpected. I like it.
Okay. So these aging athletic stars, we wanted to have this session. Now, this sports psychologist, I mean, he's never worked with middle-aged women, so he was a little surprised that we have a point of view. There was a slight amount of back talk, but we were all in, and that we really did want to try to, use some of the theories and practices that he has to make our game better so we can win. I have two things that I thought that came away from this session that I really felt like that would help anyone. You don't need to play tennis, but Liz, I think you exemplified this in your trip to your living room. But he was talking about the first thing he said is that tennis is a mental game. Okay, and you can just think about examples of that, like the greatest player in the world, Serena Williams, right? Think about the U.S. Open when she lost to that lower-ranked Roberta Vinci, the Italian. That was total mental.
She beat herself. Yeah, she only beats herself. No one can beat her.
No one can beat her. The other Open where there was the bad official call, that was mental. Okay, so you have to realize how mental this is, as you did, Liz.
I did
realize how the challenge in front of you is mental.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that Sean, our sports psychologist, took us through is whip the pony. Okay, write that down, sisters. Whip the pony.
This is much edgier than we would normally expect from you, Julie. Okay,
Hey, we are the ace kickers. Okay, aging athletic stars. Okay, so this is your pre-shot ritual, like before you serve the ball. He said, every one of you, I want you to face the back of the court. I want you to adjust your strings, even if you don't need to, and then I want you to whip your ponytail. Whip it, okay? And I'm thinking that I don't have a ponytail, but back straight, head high. It's just, he talked about the importance of rituals, of intentions, of mental toughness. You think, and that's what you have to do every time you serve the ball. You can't be like, oh, gee, maybe this ball will go in. Oh, I wonder if I still have my slice serve. You have to whip the pony. Okay.
Wow. Whew, I'm literally writing this down for pep talk this
because
week.
And he said, think of Maria Sharapova. Think of every match you've seen. What does she do? She turns to the back, she adjusts her strings, and then what does she do with her hair?
She whips her
pony. Okay. he said all the Ovas do it. Okay. So that is what he wants our team to do. Okay. So Liz, I want you, every time you go to get on that sports bike, every time you have to go down the stairs, I want you to get set up, back straight, head up. Okay. Body language, mental toughness.
Yep. Okay.
Second thing he talked about is, he said tennis is really, it's a problem times 2 mindset. And what he means by that is on tennis and doubles, you're thinking, what problems are they giving me? And what problems are we giving them? Okay. That what you really have to do in tennis is exploit the weaknesses, mental or physical weaknesses of your opponents. But let's talk about the mental part. He said, you cannot let your opponent get into your head. He said, do not let your opponent build a condo in your head. A condo. Because if he builds a condo, he's going to build a hotel. Okay. And then you've lost the match. So in fact, he said that is the cue word. Like you're in a doubles match. You just say to your apartment, condo, and you both know what that means, that you are going after them. But I really thought about how many times in my life I have let other people build condos in my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or hotels, or whatever, you just can't give up the real estate in your head. Okay, that's your head. You have to, a lot of situations you don't need to exploit you're not on a tennis court trying to win a match, but you do need to think about that. And I thought that was another really good point about, how much time we have with that. Okay. So that's it, sisters. I want you to whip the pony and I want you to say condo. Okay. When you sense someone is like doing that to you, know what's going on there. No hotels. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So we are ready. We're going to take some of the lessons from this session and we are going to go back, with all new intentions and confidence, and who knows, maybe even a few victories.
Maybe some
when does the
kicking.
When does the season fire up again? Now I'm excited.
It never ends, Lian. It never ends for us. Every day, every practice, Lian, you got to whip the pony. Okay, you can't wait till the season begins, right?
No, right.
A good point. Wow, Julie, I was going to do another story about that. It has a psychology bent, but I think you've covered psychology for today. I don't want to step on these valuable lessons, so I'm going to save mine for next week.
I think we can use those, right? Don't you?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, well, it's exactly what the Beast was saying to me when she's like, so what is actually holding you back? I was like, well, the leg, okay? The broken leg that doesn't bend. And she's like, what else? And I'm like, okay, the fear. The fear was taking up, the fear was like a full-on hotel in my head.
Yeah,
sure.
See,
yes.
you have just, you at least had a hotel. You can't have that, Liz. Okay.
Okay.
All right, people, you heard it here first. Julie, that's some good stuff. All right, when we return, we're going to be talking about snacks and the Gates divorce and wedding trends. So really covering a lot of ground today. But first, we want to thank a couple of sponsors here at Satellite Sisters. We would like to thank a couple of sponsors for supporting this week's Satellite Sisters and for supporting women's voices on the air. A big thanks to Green Chef. Green Chef is the most sustainable meal kit out there, and we think it's delicious. Green Chef lets you choose from a wide array of easy-to-follow recipes perfect for keto, paleo, and plant-powered diets, or even if you just want to eat in a more balanced way. Julie, how happy are you when that Green Chef box arrives at your front doorstep?
Lian, Lian, it's summertime. I don't want to do a lot of menu planning.
No,
I want to be out having fun. So when that box arrives, it's all there, Lian. It's in there. So you can make a delicious Mediterranean chicken thighs on a weeknight with roasted red peppers, kales, Brussels sprouts, and a lemon aioli. Now, who does that on a weeknight? It's delicious.
I know.
Okay?
I mean, what we always say about Green Chef is true. Layers of flavors, right?
Mm-hmm,
it's just, you would maybe do 2 out of the 5 options Green Chef gives you. And then Green Chef shows up and they have you baking rigatoni and the sausage. And then you're making the salad has this fantastic dressing. And then you're layering things.
You have capers, white balsamic vinegar, roasted peppers, garlic herb seasoning. Just so much.
You're making me so hungry just listening, Julie.
All right. So we love our Green Chef. We think you will too. You can lead a healthier lifestyle with Green Chef. It's so satisfying to cook these dinners at home. It has options that work around you and not the other way around. Everything is hand-packed. Hand-packed. I don't even know what that means. Maybe just the chicken.
Well, that's close to the chicken. Yeah.
But organic veggies, high quality proteins delivered to your door pre-measured and mostly prepped in insulated packaging. But you do actually get to do cooking. So that's fun. I like that. It's actual cooking. And it's the most sustainable meal kit, offsetting 100% of its direct carbon emissions and plastic packaging in every box. So you can feel great about what you're eating and how it got to your table. Thank you, Green Chef. We appreciate that. If you want to check out Green Chef and add a little layer of flavor to your weekly meal planning this summer, going on into the fall, if it's going to be busy, here's how you do it. Go to greenchef.com/sisters100. Okay. That is the code Sisters100, because guess what? You get $100 off, including free shipping. That seems like a really great deal. greenchef.com/sisters100 and use code Sisters100 to get $100 off, including free shipping. Yay! Green Chef, thank you so much. The #1 meal kit for eating well. We would also like to thank Pros for their support of Satellite Sisters. Okay, so we have sung the praises of Pros before. It's the world's most personalized hair care. And for those of you who haven't heard about it, let us tell you how great the results are with these customized products. Now, Liz, you're relatively new to the Prose family. You're a Prose believer now. Tell me about your hair regime. What's happening there?
Here's why I'm a Prose believer, Leanne. First of all, I knew that there was this in-depth hair quiz, but I didn't know they asked you things like your exercise habits, your eating habits, the damage level of your hair, which all makes perfect sense that would affect what they recommend to you. But do normal shampoo companies do that? No. They don't even care what your exercise habits are. They don't even ask. So Prose, it's one of the 85 personal factors that they ask about. So then you get your personally formulated, I got shampoo and conditioner, Leanne, and here's the best part. This goes in my pool bag with me now when I've been doing a lot of swimming laps and exercising and leg and knee rehab in the public pool here in Santa Monica. So then I take my hot shower outside in the beautiful outdoor showers that they have there. And I have my shampoo and conditioner bottles right there. And people are jealous, Leanne. They're jealous because they see that I have my name on my shampoo and conditioner. And it provokes a lot of questions like, what is happening there with your personalized shampoo and conditioner? So I'm very proud to be a Prose believer.
And Liz, I know one of the questions on the quiz is, do you swim in a chlorinated pool?
Yeah.
So that's why that is important for you because you do swim in a chlorinated pool.
Yes.
It's good to have your name on it in a public pool because someone would take those pros.
I know.
So just you hold on to that. Got your name on it. We also like Prose because it's a carbon neutral certified B Corp. Prose is an industry leader in clean and responsible beauty. All their ingredients are sustainably sourced, ethically gathered, and cruelty-free. They're also the first custom beauty brand to go carbon neutral. Right on. Prose, that's
great.
fantastic.
That's great.
If you're not 100% positive, Prose is the best hair care you've ever had. They'll take your products back, no questions asked. So if you want to get in on this, the healthy hair regime that Liz is doing now with your name all over it, take your free in-depth consultation. It's true. The quiz is very in-depth and it's free and you're going to enjoy it. And then you're going to think, does my hair smell when I leave a restaurant or not? Like
that's an unusual question.
It is. Back in the day when I was waitressing, but is that how much time am I spending in a restaurant now? Anywho's, go to prose.com/sisters. You're going to get 15% off your first order today. Prose.com/sisters. And here's how you spell Prose, Prose. Prose.com/sisters for your free in-depth hair consultation and 15% off. Thanks, Prose.
Well, we're back, and I know we said we weren't going to talk about Melinda and Bill Gates' divorce, but now we need to because, here's the thing.
Because Bill makes us now.
Yes,
he's
he
making
does.
us. Yeah.
He is. Okay, the Wall Street Journal reported yesterday that late in 2019, a Microsoft engineer sent a letter to the board in which she said she had had a sexual relationship over the years with Bill Gates. The Microsoft board then hired a law firm to conduct an investigation. In the meantime, before the investigation was completed, Bill Gates resigned from the board before the full board could make a formal decision on the matter, meaning so he resigned before they had to vote him off. And then, at the time they said Bill was leaving the board so he could spend more time on philanthropy. But it's interesting to note that he was allowed to resign 3 months after he had been reelected to the board. So it wasn't like he was planning on resigning at that time. So what do we have here? We have what
do we have, Joel?
Whip this pony. Whip it. Come on, Julie. Whip it. Whip the pony.
We have a billionaire who was behaving badly, right? And that he got away with it because he's a billionaire, and that he was allowed to to leave the board in a way that where he didn't face any repercussions. But others, possibly all of the Microsoft employees, if a similar thing had happened to them, they would have had to, they would have been investigated, possibly fired, and had some financial repercussions.
Right.
So,
and in some of these cases, people say, well, why are we policing people's personal behavior? And this isn't really about the board of directors policing his personal behavior. You're the CEO of the company. This is just off limits. Come on, dude. You can literally do anything you want with your life except for that.
Right.
It's just,
right.
like, which part of that do you not understand? And you're right, at lower levels in the company, you would of course not be allowed to do that. And you would of course be fired, or you would be, you would be shown the door. So they showed him a lot of extra. And apparently from the Journal story, and also the lengthy one that was in the New York Times, this behavior had been going on for quite a while. It wasn't just wasn't the one affair. It was like hitting on a lot of women at corporate functions. Like, what? Yeah. I mean, just in a really explicit kind of way, like, hey, I'd really like to be with you. You want to go get dinner? Like, just like, ew, Bill. Ew.
I know. Yeah.
just the fact that you're some like geek, some socially awkward geek, does not make that okay.
Exactly, Liz. Yeah.
Anyway, well,
I have to tell you, a couple years ago, I know I told this story on Satellite Sisters. I went to see Melinda French Gates, went on her book tour. She was interviewed by John Legend. And I walked out of there thinking, my gosh, that is the most self-actualized woman I have ever seen. Like, she speaks in complete sentences and complete thoughts and giant paragraphs, and, has thought through so much of her life. And, being married to a great partner was a big part of that book, and her strategy and what she was, touting, like finding the right person for you. So I was just sort of surprised and saddened by this. Like, it seemed like this is a lot of years in the making, and I think she'll be fine, but this is only going to get worse, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In terms of,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've also heard people say, well, that they met at work, they dated at work.
Right.
Again,
he was a billionaire, he was a billionaire in his 20s, right?
Yeah.
So long before they married, he was a rich guy.
But it's, times have changed. Standards are different. Thank goodness we have higher standards. But also, people are allowed to date at work. You're two single people, you meet at work. That happens all the time. Thank goodness. Where else would you meet people if not at work, people, right?
Right.
But like, when you're the CEO and there are standards that are being applied to all of your employees, you have to start applying them to yourself. So now you're a zillionaire. You're the CEO. You've been married for like decades. Yeah, no, sorry, Bill. No, not buying it.
Okay.
Good. Liz, back and whipping the pony. Yeah.
It's just,
Okay.
and again, it's not about policing personal behavior.
Exactly.
It's what are the standards inside the company that we're holding people to? And you can't decide that the person who doesn't get held to those standards is the most powerful person. No, not buying that.
Don't you remember when he walked away thinking, that seems weird?
Yes.
Like,
that's the reason why. Yeah.
Now we know, right?
Yes.
Because they made it sound like, well, now he's gonna, with the same, attention to detail and taking over the world that he applied to business, he's now going to apply to philanthropy, and this was part of his plan all along. I just remember, like, oh, okay. All right. Well,
by the way, I'm not taking anything away from what he has accomplished professionally.
Correct.
And with his philanthropy, it has nothing to do with that.
Right. Okay, Liz. All right. Liz, gonna fly this one by you, the Flamin' Hot Cheetos situation, and get your business take on that. And Julie, I'm glad you're with us.
I saw this story. I don't really understand this story.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the facts, and then we're going to discuss the business aspect of this, because this story broke Sunday in the Los Angeles Times. It's a really terrific piece of investigative reporting and writing. Great writing by Sam Dean. He spent a year researching who exactly was the inventor of the Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Now, I am not part of the Flamin' Hot Nation. This is not my community. Yeah. I didn't realize that not only is it a hugely popular snack food, but they have a very loyal fan base, and that the man who was presumed to have invented them, a member of the PepsiCo company, also has like a cult following. He's become his own star and brand. I didn't know anything about it. So I read this as like, boy, this is sort of an interesting business story about corporate mythology and taking credit for your work, and how things just get out there in the world and it can be hard to correct them. So here's what happened, Julie. The Flamin' Hot brand was introed into the food market in early 1990. Okay, so it's Cheetos and it's other other things now, but it was meant to attract basically the Hispanic market and beyond. People who liked really, really hot, messy snack foods. This was the one for them.
Okay.
Okay. Loyal, super loyal fan base. Songs have been written about them. They've been so popular. They're hard to find in places.
Yeah.
School.
Yeah. Julie, it reminded me a little bit of your Yeti lifestyle. There's definitely a Flamin' Hot lifestyle.
Okay.
People feel strongly affiliated with the Flamin' Hot brand.
Yes. So over time, one employee, a guy named Richard Montañez, claimed that he had invented the Flaming Hot Cheetos. Okay. He started as a janitor in the warehouse at Rancho Cucamonga and became a senior marketing executive there. It's an improbable journey. It's a great story. From janitor to senior marketing executive, worked for Frito-Lay, PepsiCo for 40 years. And he was focused on introducing products to the Hispanic market in California and throughout the country. So it's a story that he started working into his speeches because he was invited to speak at a lot of corporations. He received a lot of community awards in the late 2000s, and he became kind of this folk hero. And the story started to spread on the internet, right? That he was mentioning, hey, I invented the Flaming Hot Cheeto in his speeches when he accepted awards, and that made its way onto food blogs and things like that. But it was never verified because why would you verify that? He was, he worked for the company till 2019. But in 2018, the marketing executive who actually had developed the Flaming Hot Cheetos caught wind of the story. She's a woman named Lynn Greenfeld. And I liked reading this bit of the story because you can picture her because there she was in 1989. She was a newly minted MBA. Oh, I remember those little MBAs in 1989. That was kind of my class out of college. And they came and that's the only way you could really get a job in marketing at those big companies at the time was to have an MBA. And she was put on this team to develop, we're going to talk about this later, to develop these single serve snack foods. Okay. So when she read in a food blog, like a piece on Esquire.com or something, that this guy, Richard, was claiming to have invented it, she's like, that's not at all how it happened. There was no pitch meeting to 100 executives. It was me and my team in Chicago. And we had gotten a tip from a salesperson that, we were getting killed. Fritos was getting killed in the snack market out there. They needed something hotter, something sexier, something spicier. And so she and her team, went to gas stations and mini marts all over the Midwest looking for research and what could they create to attract in a small bag the same customer that was getting killed by, and they created Flamin' Hot. She came up with the name, the logo design, the essential mix of spices is the same, and they did some test marketing in the early 90s. So when she saw that someone else was claiming this, she was concerned, and it was an interesting concern because she was concerned that this wasn't the PepsiCo Frito-Lay way. They didn't take individual credit for the products they created because there is no I in team, Julie.
And there isn't, Lynn. No, there's not.
So she called corporate, as they say on The Office, she called corporate and corporate was like, well, yeah, I don't know. It's out there. They didn't seem that concerned. So this writer at the LA Times actually got a tip at the tip line at the LA Times, something's going on with Flamin' Hot. You should look into it. And he spent a year on this story. And of course, he interviewed dozens of executives from the company. There are email traces. There are, product launches. People have very specific memories of how the product was rolled out. So it looks like this Richard Montañez did not, in fact, create it. But here's the rub, Julie. He sort of created a cottage industry from being the inventor. So he has a book coming out. And Flamin' Hot is in the title.
His second memoir about being the creator of the Flamin' Hot.
Yeah. And then there's a movie about his life in the works, legitimately in the works.
Eva Longoria is making it.
Yes.
It's Eva Longoria directed project about this story.
Yes.
The rags to riches story of Richard Montañez.
He makes up to $50,000 a speech.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yes. And so there were some compelling financial reasons to sort of look in and verify this story. So Liz, I just want to talk to you about the idea that food is developed by one person. There's so many fun marketing pieces in
yeah,
this story.
yes,
I
there are.
encourage people to read it. But when the writer sets the scene, he said it was, quote, a cutthroat time in corporate foodstuffs. And then through like the 80s, how like, the brands were getting killed, and all of a sudden there was Coke versus Pepsi, and they were spending a lot of money on that. And like PepsiCo was trying to beat off Domino's pizza delivery with Pizza Hut. I mean, it was just it's a tough time in corporate foodstuffs. I love that. And then the other detail, they went into really great detail, the writer, about how these things actually are developed. And so this was a rogue band. Liz, I know you're going to explain this. It's a rogue band of marketing executives, but one of them, their whole job was to create small bags stuff that sold at 7-Eleven. You know those bags of food?
Yeah. That clipped on. Yeah. That you just grab and go. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the small bag team is what they called them. And one of the marketing executives said he was on beef sticks and cookies, which thank God that's a job in America. Someone is on beef stick development. But he said, I was on the cookie and Lynn was on the small bag. And I was like, that's the greatest. That's almost as good as Whip the Pony. I was on the cookie.
Right. Yeah. So what
Liz, how does this happen? What happened here?
What I liked about that detail in particular, sisters, is that you can imagine inside like Big Snack, right? Inside a company like Frito-Lay, if you have the prestige jobs, you're running some big brand, right? You're running Fritos or something. But instead, this little rogue team in Chicago, they're supposed to develop just these single serve bags of whatever. You're not the big brands. You're just this sort of entrepreneurial rogue team trying to like cook some stuff up and get it out there in these single serving packages that are going into gas stations. So in the corporate hierarchy, I'm sure people are looking down on you, right? You're single serve, you're small bag, you're
small bag.
You're on the cookie.
Yeah.
That's not So I appreciate Lynn Greenfeld's like commitment to the team, because she was on what was probably a low status team. And yet she created Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I mean, she even designed the bag. I mean, it was totally doing things, on their own, versus I'm sure in the Dallas HQ, they had hundreds of people doing stuff like that. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the detail that the author of the LA Times story, Sam Dean, it just so happens, sadly for some of the people in the story, he used to be a food blogger at Bon Appetit, and he wrote about food for a bunch of different magazines. So when this came into the tip line, as Leon said, well, first of all, imagine being the person that calls the tip line. He's like, hey.
Well, people like their Cheetos, apparently.
Yes, something going on with Flamin' Hot that you don't understand. Somebody should look into that whole Flamin' Hot thing. So the chances that there was someone in the business department at the LA Times that cared enough about the Flamin' Hot tip to spend a year working on it is fantastic to me.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a Pulitzer for this.
Yeah,
no doubt.
yeah. Oh, it's so entertaining on so many levels. This should be the movie. And then there's the part which me as a corporate communications and marketing person appreciates, that, well, really, the story of Richard Montañez is actually better than the true story, right? So if you're the company, if you're Frito-Lay, and he's out there saying, here's the story, I was the janitor, I pitched the CEO of the company, they adopted my idea, you might just say, well, that is an excellent story. Let's just go with that. Let's just not, we don't really need to stop that or correct that. So they obviously let it go for many years until until the anonymous tipster blew the whistle. But I can kind of understand their dilemma. Like, this guy has a great story and he's great at telling it, and we like his story better than the real story. So sorry, Lynn Greenfeld.
I think she needs to be compensated for in some way. Maybe moved out of small snacks.
Well, one of the problems was she no longer works for the company. I mean, this was now 25 years ago.
Yeah,
this was a long time ago. Yeah. So one of the reasons that the myth was just allowed to get carried forward is people had left. People who were actually involved on that team left. So she's long gone from the company, as is almost everyone else, except Richard, who was basically retired in 2019, because the CEO said you can't actually be charging all that money for speeches if you actually work for us. So he was like, oh, okay, goodbye. But
and there are in the story, Julie, there are other legit claims that he made about things that he worked on and products that he helped create.
Yeah.
It just so happens they were not Flamin' Hot Cheetos. That's all.
Yeah.
So
he had a very lively, creative corporate career for sure.
Yes.
So Liz, I just wanted to ask though about like the importance of corporate mythology in creating a corporate culture though. I mean, is it necessary to have sort of these kind of stories out there that give hope to employees that you can rise and it seems harmless, basically.
Well, you would prefer that the stories were true. Though,
okay.
Not the made up stories. No, not so much. But the idea that any employee can make a huge contribution to the company and rise to the ranks. I mean, those are the kinds of stories that you want to tell. And I remember this is like way back in the day at Nike, the story, like Nike Air was the little air pillows that filled with gas that are in your shoes or completely turned around the company's fortune. That was like some aerospace engineer that had created that actually for airplane tires, and then just kind of came on a whim, like peddled that around to the shoe companies and got that adopted, and they got put in the shoes. And so telling the Frank Rudy story, I think his name was Frank Rudy, telling that story was an important part of the mythology, but it was true.
Right.
So
okay. Right.
That was great. It was highly motivating to people. But then, also people start getting credit for all kinds of things they didn't do. So this whole thing feels very familiar to me.
Well, Liz, I get asked all the time because people know your history with Nike. Like people say, didn't your sister Liz think up Just Do It? I get asked that all the time.
I cannot tell you how many times I have had to say, no, I did not think up Just Do It. I feel like I spend more time denying that than almost anything else in my career. Well, first of all, people want to think that there's one person that did everything, right? And so I did not, for the record, no, I did not. But I am frequently asked that. And I don't know how that rumor got started. And believe me, I didn't start it. I did not start it.
Okay, you heard it here first on Satellite Sisters, right? I don't think you've ever denied that on Satellite Sisters and all the.
But I think it commonly happens inside companies that like these teams of people work on something, and that story isn't as sexy as saying, "Oh, this is the person that dreamed it all up." So Richard Montañez, I mean, in a way, good for him. He sort of took advantage of the need people have to want to hear that kind of story, and he's obviously great at telling it. Yeah.
All right. Well, fascinating snack story. We'll put links to the LA Times story. There have been follow-ups. There have been podcasts. It's getting a lot of press now. But as I said, when I opened the paper Sunday, I just thought, oh, this is a great business story. Can't wait to talk to Liz about it. All right. Another great story on Sunday was the business of snacking from the New York Times. And so it was about tracing how small snack foods like work their way into the system and become the next Kind bar or pop chip. Okay. So how does
that happen, Leanne?
You know how it happens, Julie? It happens at office kitchens. So the story was really about how these small snack foods, the pandemic was terrible for them, even though people were eating their faces off during the pandemic.
Everybody has gained weight in the last.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay.
Adults, children, everybody. Yeah.
We were just talking about Frito-Lay. Frito-Lay North America sold $1 billion more Doritos, Cheetos, and Tostitos chips in 2020. Okay. But it was a huge year for big snack, not a good year for small snack. And the way that these snacks get traction, Julie, is that they're placed in kitchens like Google and Facebook and Netflix.
So like in breakout rooms, the break rooms where
yes. Okay. So or like they're at food fairs and they catch the attention of the buyer from Whole Foods. Well, no food fairs last year. Okay. There are places that are open to new snacks, Liz. They enjoy being, the arbiters of good snacking.
They're snack influencers?
Yes, snack influencers, Liz, please. And there are places like Equinox gyms, yoga studios.
Sure.
Okay. Those were all closed. How about the idea, like even at specialty markets, if you go in, you're in the checkout, ooh, there's the new snack stuff. No, during the pandemic, it was hand sanitizer, toilet paper, face masks.
Oh, yeah.
Like they
Right.
cleared out that shelf space.
No room for
Plastic
snacks.
shields. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
Okay, so the poor small snack people did not have a good year. But here's one of those business details that made me laugh. But because people like Frito-Lay, my gosh, this is huge. They want to take advantage of this. So they did all kinds of things. Like if you started seeing more snack ads in Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and other social media markets, that's why people were just ordering snacks on bulk at home. So they started
Oh.
selling directly. Okay. And then they finally did this, which seems, I don't know, pretty obvious. But PepsiCo created a website called snacks.com. How did they not own that? How did you?
How was that not available? Yeah. Right.
How did they not? I mean,
Yeah, that seems like something they could have nailed down a while ago.
a while ago. Okay.
Our sister Sheila should have owned that. Yes.
I know, Julie. I know. Her motto was literally breathe, reach, and snack since 2000. Okay. And here's what they're doing with the snacks.com. They are mining data. They're letting consumers pick their own snack mixes. So you can see he's excited, the chief growth officer there at PepsiCo, Michael
Yeah,
Lindsay. Oh, so they're pairing things like Bare Apple Snacks and Flamin' Hot Funyuns. What the? He said, now we're going to use the data to create new multi-packs for stores. I was like, oh my gosh, the snack food business. Snack food business.
I mean, somebody's got to be serious about it, Land. So, I mean,
I guess so.
you're not, but this is someone's life work, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
They're pretty serious about it. So,
Where is the next Cheeto brand extension going to come from, Leanne? Where's it going to come from? People have to pay
Snacks.com,
attention.
Liz. Snacks.com. All right.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay, Jewel, I know we have some Tuesday wedding trends, so we have time for that.
okay. Well, as you may be aware, sisters, millions, maybe billions of people are going to get married in 2021. Okay. Because that's not an actual fact, but millions are. You know, many people postponed weddings. So now they're getting geared up for weddings this spring, this summer. And can I just say to all the brides, the grooms, the parents of the brides and grooms, you know, that is so wonderful, isn't it? I mean,
Yes.
I just love in the time of COVID, I just want to cheer people on, and then to have a wedding celebration when you have, you know, which is always so emotional and always complicated, to have this whole other layer of complication. Just good for you, whatever you decide to do. You know, I mean, certainly last year, people kept things very small. They had mini monies. Have you heard that term? Mini monies.
Oh, no, that's cute, though. I
That's
like it.
cute. Just,
What is that?
mini monies, like little ceremonies, Liz.
Oh, okay.
You got that?
Come on, Liz.
Come on.
Come on.
There's just so much new lingo on today's show. I'm whipping the pony. There mini monies. It's a lot to learn here
Snack
today. I'm
fluencer.
suddenly-
You just got to keep that head space clear, Liz, and follow along. But here are some big trends that you know that people are working on. Number one, it appears that your wedding website now needs to resemble something like the CDC, because you have to have FAQs on it. It has to be, you know, updated constantly. Look at the situation with masks. What do
Right.
you do? I mean,
yeah.
you know, a vaccination. Do you allow flower girls? Okay. An unvaccinated flower girl at a wedding? I don't know. So these are all the kinds of things that people putting on weddings or planning to host weddings are doing. And I think one of the big things that you read in a lot of wedding blogs is everybody just got to go with it. You know, some virtual, hybrids, whatever you need. Certainly outdoor weddings are big. Okay. Those are because those obviously seem safer. People are going with alternative dates, not just on Saturdays.
Mm.
I mean, there are no Saturday dates. So have your wedding on a different day. Okay.
Sure.
Different dining and seating layouts. Okay. You can skip the buffet. Past apps, they're out. Okay. People aren't doing that. They don't even want, you know, where you have the table where you get your table assignments. No, they don't want people congregating at tables.
Oh.
That's out. But there was one suggestion. I don't know if this is a trend. I would love to know. That just made me chuckle because I thought about the weddings in our own family. We've had some wonderful family weddings, and people are developing a wristband system. Okay.
Mhm.
Green wristband means hugs are okay. Okay, come on in, give me a hug. Okay, I haven't seen you, cousin. I haven't seen you. I want one. Yellow is I'm comfortable talking with you, but no touching. Okay,
Mhm.
and red 6 feet distances. Okay, so it just made me
Wow.
think like I'm definitely put that green wristband on. Leanne, I suspect you're a yellow wristbander. You know, like,
I'm a yellow. It's going to take me a while to get to green, but I'm close to green.
I know you're
I'm
close to green.
close to green.
Our sister Sheila, she's a red. Right?
She's
She's a red. Yes.
Yeah.
6 feet.
I think she's just permanently a red. That's
Yeah,
she always
that's
wanted to. She always wanted to have an excuse to be red, and now she does. So
Yeah.
good.
Okay, so if you're using this wristband system at your upcoming ceremony, mini-moni, whatever you have, let us know. Let us know it works out. But I think it
Okay.
is about being respectful. It is trying to
Sure.
to really make it work for everyone. They say hand sanitizers are still number one party favors. I think you can do better than that. Just
Not those candied almond things.
Not the mints. Not the Mm.
nothing, no touching, no touching. Okay.
All right, Julie, good reportage. Good reportage there. Thank you.
So much information.
All right, when we come back, we have some entertaining sisters picks. Also, I'm going to tell you how you can get in on the Sweeney Sisters book clubs. But first, we want to thank a couple of sponsors. We would like to thank a couple of sponsors for supporting today's Satellite Sisters Summer Splash. We would like to thank Rothy's. Well, we'd like to thank Rothy's for just being Rothy's because we love our,
Yes.
our love Rothy's.
I love those emails every day. Beautiful patterns,
I know.
colors. It brightens up my day, Leanne. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Rothy's believes style is about more than just fashion. That's why everything they make is exceptionally comfortable, totally sustainable, and fully machine washable. That is right. You heard that correctly. Fully machine washable. A little hot where you are? Toss those Rothy's in the washing machine. From slip-on sneakers and classic flats to chic handbags and spacious totes, Rothy's fan favorites make getting dressed easy. So stylish. Made with 100% recycled materials like thread spun from plastic water bottles. It amazes us every time we say it, and yet we continue to say it and be amazed. Now, you're going to want to start summer off right with comfortable bestsellers like flats, loafers, and sneakers from Rothy's. They have an array of colors for their shoes. We know that. They're going to make exploring so much fun. Plus, they have spacious, washable bags, perfect for summer getaways. Now, Jewel, are you a Rothy's washer? Do you wash the shoes often?
You know, Leanne, I'm always going off-road. I'm hiking a little, and I don't worry about, when I'm in my Rothy's sneakers, I just bring them home. I toss them in the wash, and they come out beautifully. And Leanne, as a mother of boys, I know you're a mother of boys, wouldn't you have paid $1 million to have Rothy's for our sons when they were growing up? When you think about all the stinky, sweaty feet, you don't have to worry about that. Okay.
No.
Hey, listen, and if your feet sweat, okay, if that's a problem, you can wash your shoes every day. Okay.
You are excited about this, Julie. That's good. That's good.
That's right. Julie's alluding to Rothy's newly launched men's shoes. They're intentionally designed with an artisanal level of detail and created with nearly zero waste. They are durable, washable, and better for the planet. Plus, rigorous testing during R&D resulted in the perfect fit, wash after wash. So that's right. Sneakers that you can wash for women and for men. Get that, Satellite Sisters and Misters? Keep it fresh this summer with washable shoes and bags from Rothy's. Head to rothys.com/sisters to find your new warm weather faves today. That's rothys.com/sisters. And Rothy's is ROTHYS.com/sisters. We would also like to thank FrameBridge for their support of Satellite Sisters. FrameBridge makes it easier and more affordable than ever to frame your favorite things without ever leaving the house. Need a gallery wall in your home office? Who doesn't? Come on, get your gallery wall going. What are you waiting for? Or send the perfect gift. Did you just go to a great family reunion or a great wedding and you want to send a really thoughtful thank you gift? Here's how you do it. You just go to framebridge.com and upload your photo from the wedding or the family reunion. Or if you have some memorabilia, they're going to send you packaging to safely mail in your physical pieces. You get to preview your item online with dozens of frame styles and gallery wall layouts. Choose your favorite or get free recommendations from their talented designers. And by talented designers, they mean not you and me, Liz. I think that's it.
I know.
It's not us
Leon,
winging it.
I love my gallery wall so much. I wish I had more wall space. I wish, it's tempting to like take bigger things down so you can put up work with their designers, create the gallery wall layout. I just love it. I love it.
Instead of the hundreds you're paying at a framing store, Framebridge prices start at $39 and all shipping is free. Plus, Satellite Sisters listeners get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when they use the promo code SATSisters. Okay? That's an amazing deal. Get started today. Frame your photos or send someone the perfect gift. Go to framebridge.com and use promo code SATSisters to save an additional 15% off your first order. Just go to framebridge.com, promo code SATSisters, framebridge.com, promo code SATSisters. Thanks, Framebridge, for supporting Satellite Sisters. All right, sisters, it's time for Entertaining Sisters. And I just wanted to remind people, though, that my book, The Sweeney Sisters, is out in paperback. And I know we have new listeners every week, so I don't know, maybe you haven't heard about my book. So
what's it about, Leanne?
You know what, Julie, I'm glad you asked. It's the story of three sisters who suddenly discover, due to some circumstances in a DNA test, that there's a fourth sister out there. And so it examines what the meaning of sisterhood is and secrets and family and how you kind of find your place in this world and what really matters to you and what doesn't. It's set in our hometown of Southport, Connecticut. So there is sailing and there is a great 4th of July scene. There is blueberry muffins. There are jokes about topsiders in the book. So you don't get that in every book. But ultimately, it's a story about sisterhood. So it's out in paperback now. And last year I did a whole series of book clubs on the platform Crowdcast for people who had read the book. And because book clubs weren't meeting, I just created a bring your own book club format. So I'm doing that again for the Sweeney Sisters. There are 2 dates in June 4th and June 17th. Let me make sure I have that right. Nope. June 3rd and June 17th.
Always worth checking.
It's worth checking.
Good.
It's totally
Good
worth checking.
Check your work. Yes, that's
And I don't even think that's right. I think it might be the 2nd and the 16th. All right, I'm going to get these dates right. Anyway,
we'll put them. They'll be correct in the show notes by the time we get the show published. How about that?
Yeah.
I just had a lot to prepare for today's show. I just didn't put the dates down.
Okay.
Here's
Leanne, I can attest because I had you come to my book club.
Yeah.
You are great in a book club setting.
Thank you, Julie. Thanks.
So I would whenever these book clubs are, sign up because you are going to learn a lot about the book and Leanne's writing process and she's entertaining and fun and humble. So I would recommend it.
Thank you, Julie. Yeah, these are definitely for people who have already read the book. So you can ask me anything about the book at that time and we can talk about anything. They're not for, I don't tape them. I don't post them anywhere. So they really do try to emulate a book club as much as possible. But the good news is, unlike Zoom, your photo is not on screen. So you can literally be in your pajamas and no one judges.
In your MeUndies. Yeah.
In your MeUndies.
A matching set of MeUndies is recommended.
And so that's the deal. So one is at 4:00 on the, I do it in 2 different time zones. So I'll put all the times and everything everywhere in the show notes. I'll put it on social media. It's been in the newsletter. So if you're a Pep Talk subscriber, but I would love to have you. And if you pick your book for your book club, if you pick my book for your book club, I'm happy to come to your book club, whenever that is. Now that it's out in paperback, I know a lot of book clubs don't read hardbacks. They only read paper. Well, it's out in paper. So if you want to schedule something for this summer or the fall, if you take a break during the summer, I am completely up for that and available. Just contact me through my website, leandolan.com. So that's the Sweeney Sisters out in paperback now.
Super exciting. Okay. Well, I have a clarification / correction from last week. It's not something we do very often on Satellite Sisters because if it's partially incorrect, honestly, don't care. It's fine. It seems like a low stakes thing. But last week we were talking about our favorite new show of the year, which is Girls Five Eva. It just is so fun. It's sort of like the official Satellite Sisters TV show, I think, Sisters, and super entertaining. And it's on the Peacock network. Peacock is the streaming service from NBC Universal. And I said, and the good news is the Peacock is totally free. Well, apparently that's not true. Apparently it's kind of free and you can kind of watch like the first episode of Girls Five Eva, and there's other content that's totally free, but it depends on who your cable provider is. Anyway, I don't know how much this is going to cost you. That's all I'm saying here.
Okay.
Is that the information I gave seemed definitive, and I should not have been so definitive. So it's still a great TV show. You should still check it out. It's still on Peacock. The rest of it is really up to you, but you will enjoy. You will enjoy.
You know what? I watched 2 more episodes this week. Like you, Liz, I'm just meeting it out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is just a super funny show. I cannot, it's so fun. It's so fun and so funny. I mean, Renee Goldberry is so incredibly great in the show. Just, they're all great. Everything's great. The songs are great. The parody songs are great. It's just fantastic. So yeah, there. I just want to re-up my endorsement of that show.
Okay, good. That's good.
Oh, is it me next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was trying to find the dates for my book club.
We're going to get those later.
I got to focus. We still have a show to do here. All right.
And take a second.
Yeah.
Go to the back of
Yeah.
go back to the screen. Look at your strings. And then I want you to whip the pony. And now get back in there.
Okay. All right, Jill. Here you go. I have 2 historical fiction books to recommend this week. The first is The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. And the second is The Hour of the Witch by Chris Bohjalian. I think he says it Bohjalian, actually. So the first one, The Dictionary of Lost Words, is an unbelievable tale. It's based on a tiny thread of truth, which I think most great historical fiction is based on a little bit of truth. So this is the story of the founding and the creation of the Oxford English Dictionary. Okay, it's a massive project that took place in the late 1800s in Oxford, England, where they worked for 4 decades, 40 years, to compile every word in the English language. And they published them in volumes like A and B, C, D and E, F. Like they were published, one after the other over the course of 40 years. So this has to do with a word that was left out of the original OED. It went missing. And so Pip Williams is a writer who mainly writes nonfiction. This is her first novel. And she's created this whole backstory of what happened to this missing word. And it is a great feminist retelling of this. Has to do with the daughter of one of the original, philologists working on the project, and how she grows up like working on the OED, and how her whole life is words, and her life spans, 60, 70 years. It's just a fantastic tale. If you like words and academics and semantics, if you enjoy semantics, this is the book for you. But it's just kind of a fun, interesting tale. I thought it was really unexpected and surprisingly moving. So it's called The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. And the other one, The Hour of the Witch, is this has been described, I saw it described as The Handmaid's Tale, meets the Salem witch trials. Okay.
Oh.
So there you go, right? That's a good hook, right? You're kind of in. So it's a retelling of, life in Boston. It's set in Boston. It features like the Puritans there in the 1600s and what one woman goes through when she is trapped in a bad marriage. Okay. So, but it's written in a very plain spoken style. I'm listening to the audiobook. I'm just at the very end. It's being narrated by Chris Bohjalian, who's written 1 million bestsellers, including The Flight Attendant. It's narrated by his daughter, and she speaks very plainly. And you know what? Those Puritans, they had a lot of issues, is all I want to say. They had a lot of issues.
That sounds good too, Leanne.
It's really good. Both of them are really interesting, sort of feminist retakes on something you think you might know a little bit about or might be interested in knowing more about. I enjoyed both of them very much.
All right, Leanne, good recommendations. Sisters, I'm coming to you today with a music recommendation, okay? I want to recommend the new album called The Marfa, Marfa tapes with Jack Ingram, Miranda Lambert, and John Randall. Now, these three artists this album was written together by these three artists over a series of retreats in Marfa, Texas. Now, I've talked about the fact that I've been to Marfa a couple of times. I think it's such a unique place. It's an artist community there. It's in West Texas. This has just got three great voices, three guitars. That's it. There is very little production, maybe no production in this new album. To me, it sounds like a Satellite Sister show, a little bit about that. I mean, particularly from the lost years, the dark ages, Leanne, you know,
Right.
I can't, the songs are beautiful. I think everyone should give it a listen. So the Marfa tapes is the name of the album.
Okay.
Julie, okay, music recommendation.
All
What
right.
happened
And
here?
all right. Well, one more thing from the music world is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced their new inductees last week, and they picked one for you, Leanne, and one for you, Julie. So yay. They've obviously been paying attention over all these years to women who've been overlooked and finally deserved their moment. So first for you, Leanne, it's the Go-Go's. The Go-Go's will be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's about time. When I think of the Go-Go's, I just automatically think of you.
Yeah, that was my number one band in high school. The
Yeah.
Go-Go's and Madonna. Like
Yeah.
just the Go-Go's, because their first album, Beauty and the Beat, came out when I was, I think, a sophomore in high school. And that was it. Like we
Yeah.
had never seen girls do that, play the guitars and write all the songs. And oh my gosh. And they were all
Yeah.
so great and so
Yes.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? You had never seen girls do that before, and they haven't done that since. That was one of the little facts I learned watching the Go-Go's documentary that's out. And I'm not even going to tell you where you can watch it, people, because I learned I learned my Peacock lesson. I'm just going to say pay-per-view. I actually bought it on Amazon. You can buy it wherever you want. I'm not going to. I don't care. But there's a really great documentary that came out last year about the Go-Go's, and you know, there are just some fantastic moments where you just see them having so much fun and really creating something new and being so successful and so surprised at all of that. And then other moments where things got very dark, serious drug issues, serious mental health issues, but some of the more lighthearted details. Okay, Leanne, you mentioned Beauty and the Beat, so you would appreciate this. When they shot the cover for Beauty and the Beat, that concept where they're wrapped in towels and they have face masks on.
Yeah.
That was Belinda Carlisle's idea for the shot. But their manager at the time actually went to Macy's, bought the towels, they shot the cover, and then she returned the towels to Macy's because they had no money. And
Oh my gosh.
she needed, I mean, and that album went to number one and stayed there for a while. So it's just a classic album cover. And but the towels went back to Macy's. I thought you would.
I love that. That's incredible.
And also their first music video, they only got to make because they got signed to IRS records by Miles Copeland, who is the brother of Stuart Copeland of the Police. And so the Police were making a music video and had some money left over. They did not spend all the money in the budget for their video. So they gave it to the girls, and the girls got the leftover $6,000 is what they made their first music video with. And
Oh my gosh, that's a great story.
yeah. Oh, anyway, a lot of great stories in this documentary, and then some also like how they broke apart and how they came back together. Anyway, highly recommend. But congrats to the Go-Go's. They were the first all-female band ever to have an album go to number one, where they wrote all the songs, played all the instruments, where they did everything. They were the first that ever did that. And they are also the last. That has not happened since.
Wow.
So I was surprised about that.
I'm surprised that you're a go-go expert, Liz, but you're doing a fine job here. Yeah.
Well, just you watch the documentary, Jewel, and you get the deets. So then for you, of course, I'm sure you noticed that finally, your girl, Carole King, solo artist inducted into the Rock and Roll.
How is it that she wasn't in like the first year? I don't understand.
She was in as part of a duo, with her songwriting partner, blah 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 blah. But she was never in as individual performer until now. So she is finally getting her due. So I think in general, it was a pretty good year for women in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Tina Turner also will get inducted this year. And then the others were Jay-Z, the Foo Fighters, and Todd Rundgren. So anyway, the Go-Go's for Leanne and Carole King for Julie. Thank you, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I can't wait. I like watching that ceremony when they do the induction. If they have somebody interesting, induct them and then do the music. So
yes,
they said I read that Kathy Valentine of the Go-Go's wanted Haim, the sisters, the All Sisters band, to be one of to possibly induct them. She gave a couple names. She said there are a lot of good people, but I would like to see Haim.
Okay.
So interesting to me.
All right. So 2 quick notes about reviews of Satellite Sisters. We've asked you the past few shows to go and rate and review our show, especially on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, but Apple Podcasts is the best for us. And guess what, sisters? Our reviews are up 1,000%. Like I got an alert, 1,000%. So we love you, listeners. Thank you. We ask, and this is the best gift you could give us, is 5 stars and a review. So 2 that I want to give a special shout out to this week. The review was written by someone named Still Dixie Landings to me. Don't know what that means, but 5 stars. And it says, Tuesday is now my favorite weekday. I found Satellite Sisters during lockdown. I was on furlough and decided I had to do something to make a difference. While I sewed over 3,000 face masks and donated 1,500 of them, I binged all episodes of Satellite Sisters. Thanks for helping me through the last year. So that's fantastic. Someone who just found us.
That gives me chills. That's a great review.
Yes, it's
a great story. I forget, even if we weren't in it. Thank you.
Yep. And then at the other end of the spectrum is Nancy QL, put this in Apple Podcasts, and she's been listening for a really long time. She wrote, many years ago, I used to listen to a show in my car when I was driving to work. The premise of the show was that sisters who lived in different cities met through the magic of radio once a week to catch up with each other and talk about issues that matter to them and to other women like them. I loved this show. This was before the internet. So the idea of connecting through the airways with friends far away seemed so original and cool and necessary. I don't know why I stopped listening to the show. Maybe the radio station I was listening to it on stopped carrying it. Well, yes, Nancy, that is true. Anyway, scroll forward. She found us. She found us as a podcast. And then this was my favorite part. As soon as I heard the Dolan sisters' voices, I knew I'd rediscovered a long-lost refuge. My favorite part of the show, besides the fact that it's still here, is that the Satellite Sisters have aged with me. I like other podcasts, but the invisibility of women my age, 55, in this space is very real. Thank you, Dolan sisters. So happy to have found you again. So, okay, that one gave me chills too.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah. Women our age, we still have plenty of things to say. We're just whipping our ponies, Nancy. That's what we're doing here now. Okay, so thank you for rating and reviewing our show.
Liz, you're doing a good job on this task. All right, you know who else does a good job here? We would like to thank award-winning editor and engineer Sergio Enriquez. I mean, Sergio, you cleaned up on this week's podcast awards. Liz, explain what happened, because we literally weren't even nominated, so we paid no attention. But Sergio won everything, didn't he?
Yes. So this year was the first ever year of something new called the Amb Awards, AMBIE. The Amb Awards are new awards in podcasting, and they are given out by the newly formed Podcast Academy to try to just create legitimacy for podcasting. It's a big business now, sisters, right? So it deserves its own award ceremony. So the other night, Sunday night, they had the first annual Ambies, and 2 of the shows that won major Ambies, the hosts and producers of the show made a major point out of thanking their engineer, Sergio Enriquez. So that is the show that won Podcast of the Year. Is called Dying for Sex, which is an amazing, fascinating show that we've mentioned before. And then the other one, I think it's called Eat the Rich. Is it Eat the Rich?
Even the Rich?
Even the Rich.
I don't know, Sergio.
So anyway, we'll put links in the show notes. But so these are other shows. For Wondery is our podcast network, and so these are other Wondery shows that Sergio works on that won awards. So congrats to Wondery, to these show producers, and especially to Sergio Enriquez.
Yes, congratulations, Sergio. Thank you for all you do for us. It's even the rich, Liz.
Even the rich. Okay, thank you.
But maybe it makes you want to eat the rich. I don't know. I'm guessing it does. All right. We'd also like to thank our wonderful graphic designer, Emily Loudermilk. If you enjoy our graphics, we'd love to hear from you about that. Emily does a great job. You can follow us at Sat Sisters on Instagram. That's usually where we post the graphics. Also in our Facebook group, we would love to have you. It's a private group. Just search for the Satellite Sisters group on Facebook. Answer a couple of simple questions and you're in. We would like to thank our sponsors. Thank you, sponsors, and thank you to the Satellite Sisters and Misters who support our sponsors. Really does keep us on the air. Thank you for your support. All right, so what's on your to-do list? Julie, what do you got?
Well, I'm going to join the Mediterranean Pharaoh salad interest group, Lian, this week and make that Pharaoh salad. It sounds delicious, looks delicious. Thanks for posting the recipe.
Okay, it is. It's delicious. Liz, how about you? What's on your to-do list?
Okay, sisters, I am going to whip my pony, and it's solo driving for me this week. This is the week. Solo driving. I can do it. I've broken it down. I can do I can get down into my garage. I can get to my car. I can open and close the door. I can do all of the component parts. I just haven't put it all together yet. So that's what I'm doing this week. I will be driving myself around.
All right. Oh, Liz. Okay.
Cool.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's big.
Yep.
That's huge. All right. Well, I can just confirm the dates of my own book club. So June 3rd and June 16th. That's when they are. I'm going to be attending those June 3rd and June 16th. I don't even know why I picked those two dates, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. So that's it. I'll be there June 3rd, June 16th. All right, everybody. Great show. Have a great week.
You too, Lian.
You too.
All right. Don't forget, call your satellite sister.